Erica. I'm going to be walking you through how to do it yourself, make your own candle at home. If you've been to Candle Pour Bar before, then you know some of the basics of candle making, and this video is going to help you be able to create gifts or just make your own candles for yourself in the comfort of your own home. We're going to start with a supply list, and so this is just items you'll need to gather before we get started. The biggest thing is getting some soy wax. I'll link to where you can get this online. It comes to us in a solid form. These are beads, and we're going to heat it up to turn into the melted form to work with for our candles. You're also going to need a container. I really like starting with just a canning jar for the container. These are really easy. It's an affordable option. They're also super cute. They look homemade. You can add labels on it if you want to. So that's a good option while you're getting started. Along with your jar, you're going to need a couple of items for the wick. You're going to need a cotton wick size to the jar you have with a tab, and then of course a little wick sticker. While you let your candle cure, popsicle stick with a little hole in it. This is going to allow it to stay centered. And then a couple of just other final details is getting a warning label, either buying one or making one yourself, having a stirring utensil, as well as some fragrance oils and a thermometer. So a lot of supplies to get up front. Make sure you have all of that. And without further ado, let's get started. We're going to begin by prepping our wax today. So the wax comes to us in these little solid beads. I'm going to measure out just to make sure that I have the accurate amount. Today I am using, once it gets all in there, 325 grams of wax. All right, so I've got measured out on my kitchen scale, and it's pretty full right now. It's taking up a lot of volume. It will decrease in size once I stick it in the microwave. You can do this one of two ways. You can either put it in your microwave, or you can double broil it on your stovetop. I find this way is pretty convenient if you're just making one. If you're making more than one, go ahead and throw it on your stove. So I'm going to set this for a couple minutes and let it go. While that is beginning to melt down, I'm going to go ahead and prep my candle jar. So with the canning jars, it's really nice because the lids come on top of it. If you're using a jar that doesn't have a lid, you're going to want to make sure there's no dust or anything that's been collecting in the bottom of your jar, because you want a clean surface to be able to work on. So with the canning jar, we're going to make sure again that our wick is sized correctly. Some information is in the supply list, but also that it's long enough so that it will cure and stay in place. So this one is good to go. It's sized for the jar. I'm going to go ahead and take off one side of the sticker, place it directly on the tab, take off the other side, and then to the best of my ability, I'm going to go ahead and get it centered in this jar. All right. I like to take a spoon or something a little bit longer to go ahead and apply a little bit of pressure just so it sticks down to the bottom of that jar. Easy peasy, it is all ready to go. For the purposes of today, I'm not going to put the wick centering thing on just quite yet. I'm going to go ahead and pour the candle before I put that on. But before I'm going to also put on my warning label. I actually think it's pretty affordable to get these online. You can print your own, but usually price per sticker goes up a little bit. Also, if you're just gifting this to people, you do want to make sure that you have the warning label information on it for safety reasons. All right, so fragrance oils. When I first started out, I was doing mostly just straight essential oils, ones that I had researched and were okay to be put into a candle. The thing about the straight essential oils is it's a higher price point, and so it's a little bit more expensive to make your own candles. And so I like to go for fragrance oils that are blends of essential oils and essence oils and that are clean burning. So there's a couple of different options. Today I went with an option that is really summery. It's starting to get summer here in Iowa, and it's going to help repel bugs. So I like to look up the different oils, what properties they have. So there's a little bit of lemon in there, lemongrass, a little bit of eucalyptus mint. There's a couple things in there that are going to be great for repelling bugs. All right, so my wax is starting to melt, but not quite there yet. I'm going to give it a couple more minutes and then we'll come back together. So the wax is fully melted. I took the temperature and then gave it a couple minutes to come down to the appropriate temperature. I usually wait for it to get to about 160 before we add our fragrance oils. One of the things on your supply list is make sure you have an oven mitt. Again, this is really hot wax that we're dealing with, so we want to make sure that we keep ourselves safe. All right, so I'm gonna go ahead and take the hot wax out, and I'm gonna put it directly onto my kitchen scale. Because the temperature has come down now, we are going to be able to pour our fragrance oil directly into the glass that we have. When I'm in the kitchen, I like to use the Pyrex dish. It's really easy to be able to heat up in the microwave, to be able to measure in, but also cleaning. The cleaning of the glass is super easy. I just use soap and water right in my kitchen sink, and then I'm able to use it for the future. All right, so the amount of oil we're using today for this size is gonna be 35 grams of fragrance oil. And this is gonna be great at repelling the bugs since it's getting nice outside. All right, so 35 grams. I'm gonna go ahead and start pouring slowly. Watch it count up. And that was the perfect amount. Hi, Tank. He's being my helper today in here. So I'm gonna go ahead and start to stir. We do a full 2 minutes of stirring as much as possible. I'm eyeballing the time right now. Just to kind of keep track, but we really want to allow those molecules of the wax and the fragrance oil to blend all together. And so it just requires gentle stirs, not vigorous stirs. You don't want to get too many air bubbles in there. While I keep stirring, I'm going to press pause. We'll come back together once the 2 minutes are up. So my 2 minutes are now completed of stirring the wax and the fragrance oils together. It smells absolutely wonderful. And now we're ready for the last part, which is going to be taking our hot wax and pouring it into our candle container. It's going to require a little over an hour for it to cure completely. And that's okay. It gives me time to do a couple more things before I have to go grab the kids. But I'll come back after this and show you those final details that you can do. So go ahead and just pour that wax directly into your candle container. It's okay if the wick is moving around at this point. Totally fine. All right, the perfect fill. It hits right underneath that top. We're gonna take our popsicle stick, place it on here. All right, and we'll just let it sit. So it's been an hour and the candle has completely cured, and you'll see kind of that it went from that transparent kind of yellowish color to now being a solid white candle. You're gonna wanna burn this right away. I am gonna encourage you to wait at least 24 hours so the candle really just allows the molecules to set, so that way when you light it for the first time, it's a really nice, strong fragrance throw. So one of the important things we like to talk about during candle pour bar is the importance of trimming your wick and keeping it at the proper height. So if you don't have fancy wick trimmers at your house, you can just use a pair of scissors, but we're gonna bring down the wick to be a 1/4 inch. A lot of people aren't super familiar with a 1/4 inch, so you can get out a ruler, kind of look at it, or I always like to use this part of my finger right here. That's about 1 inch, so half of that is gonna be 1/2 inch. So as long as I'm between 1/4 inch and 1/2 inch, that's gonna be a good length for my candle. All right, so I'm gonna go ahead and get that wick off. I'm gonna put the top on and let it sit for 24 hours. And then the first time I do burn this, I'm gonna make sure to let the entire top layer of wax completely melt. This usually takes about 2 hours or so, but every light after that, then the wax will remember to do a full burn. And so it will really just extend the life of your candle and allow you to get the most out of this homemade, beautiful candle. Love to hear what questions you have. Drop the comments below, send me an email, or you can always join me at a candle pour bar. We have a lot of opportunities to pour some during the summer and then more coming in fall. See you soon.